hey, oh, muted. All right.
Now we're good.
Now you can actually hear it. Eat my ass, America. I'm just sharing the stream, sharing the cream, sharing the dream. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You're talking about, you feel me? I mean,
Hey, you starting getting gray in your beard yet?
man, I shaved that fucking bullshit off. But yeah, I had a little bit of fucking gray in that shit. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's the only, man, like, here's the thing. Man.
I feel cool. I had like a stripe, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a fucking Edgar Winter group. Like I've been eating old ass.
Old ass.
Like an old ancient, like what if you were
Like
fucking
the gray hair
on a
yeah,
you know, do you know that
hair?
Led Zeppelin song remains the same?
Yeah.
How Jimmy Page like climbs that cliff and when he gets to the top it's just him, but
Old.
oh
Yeah.
dude, I watched it on acid one time and it got blown
The fuck away.
out of the fucking frame.
Hey,
like he was climbing that shit and they played that fucking song that I love to take acid to. It's like, this is a path where no one goes. Wow, wow, wow. He's climbing the fucking cliff, and he gets to the top, and you see a wizard like, oh, man, this motherfucking ancient, sage-ass wizard about to spit some knowledge, and he pulls his fucking thing back, and it's an old Jimmy Page, and I was like, God damn! And then it goes back to the climbing Jimmy Page, and he's an old Jimmy Page. Woo!
Hey, I remember we watched that shit.
But imagine if you did that, but at the top, and you pull that robe back, it's an old ass.
But
And you have to eat it.
But that butt hair is what the gray is in your beard?
Yeah.
That's residual fucking feast.
I don't even know the fuck that means, man. That's like a fucking slam band name, dude.
Residual feast.
What's going on, guys? We're the little feast from Queens, New York. Look at that fucking thing, man. It's a whole patois we got going on.
Yeah, brother.
Woo! We're here with you. Man, dude, we gotta do deadlifts every Wednesday before. I'm fired.
I'm too.
Yeah, fuck. Up.
I want to throw some shit.
Yeah, I'm smashed
Hey,
everything.
Man, you remember whenever I fucking figured out what the hell fog hat meant?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Just high as fuck. Like,
That was the first time I smoked weed in months.
Because you were like, man, I feel foggy. And then you're like, fog hat. Man, boys, I just smoked weed. That means I put on my fog hat.
Shout out to
That's
Fog
all
Hat.
it is, man. Shouts to Foghat, dude. I don't know, what song did they sing?
Who knows?
Slow ride. Yeah, I can hear. Okay. I'm coming. Coming. We were talking about monotheist, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I like to talk about.
That's the best.
I am God. Dying. Coming. Dude, every third riff. Ooh. You know what I'm saying?
It's, man, listen.
Tom G.
That's probably my favorite record, metal wise.
No.
No, it's not.
You dumb shit.
It's
There's no
not.
way.
It's not.
It bangs. I mean, it slaps. I'm with it. I love. It's a fucking bad. It's hard, dude. That's a hard,
Yo, yeah,
hard
man.
record. Very overlooked. Very overlooked. Just because they did that Cherry Blossom shit, they broke up, and then they came back so hard.
Yeah, man.
Hard.
Yeah.
God die coming in the human flesh. Ooh. Every third.
It's like when you hear Crowbar, you're like, oh man, this is heavy as fuck. But you hear that.
That's first of all where Crowbar got it from. Second of all, way heavier than Crowbar.
Oh my, you're right. That's the first time you told the truth.
Man, fuck you. You fucking fuck. Well, man, I love to smell holes. You know what I'm saying?
Smell them?
I like to sniff them. I like to scratch them. I like to think about them. Oh, hey, what do you YouTubers think about a new shirt? Bigger logo on the front. I would love to do one with a dick logo, but I don't think people will buy it.
No, they won't, man.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You might have to do like a limited.
Yeah.
Where you only do it one time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to get our funds up for that. We have to get shirts now that we don't hold on to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to move those shirts so we can get more shirts. But on the back, listen to Candlemass and eat an ass.
I feel like that's a great Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
that's a culture that I can totally get behind. You know what I'm saying? For one, Candlemass, rippers. Another underrated scenario. People love Doom, sludge, all that dumb shit these days. I don't like it. I'm over it. I'm spent.
Except for Candlemass.
But Candlemass, my guy, that timeless tale of good shit. Well, I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. We just did an interview with Jamie from The Absence. They were a ripping melodic death metal band. They had a little hiatus. And then they're back. And the new one bangs, man. If you like melodic death metal, it's for you. But yeah, the YouTubers, you already know what it is. It's the Death Metal Boys. And we're going to record our podcast. And we're about to start. Hold on. I'm sorry. I blew it.
You're blowing it.
I'm blowing it.
You
All right, we're
blew
about to
it.
start. All right, count us down, Mark, because I want to come in with the song. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go. Oh, Lord, how majestic is your wing in all its girth. Oh, Lord, we magnify your wing. Oh, Lord, we sing your mead's praise, Prince of Peace, Ding of Dings, the Lord's Hog Almighty. Our God is an awesome God, he's gay, and loves dog nut, eat butts, and Rob Halford's come. Our God is an awesome God. Woo! That's for the Lord above. Sweet JC. Welcome to another exciting edition of Death Metal Dorks. Man, it's a banger. Big show tonight. We are doing the Crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Believe it or not, me and Buddy are experts on Jesus. We both grew up Baptist. I got stuck in a Christian school where they made the entire school watch videos on the evils of heavy metal, all because of me in 6th grade. Me and Buddy both separately got in trouble for laughing during the Mel Gibson movie Passion of the Christ, and separately in trouble for jerking off in church.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got caught jacking, dude.
Dude, I got caught jacking too in the balcony. I had a secret spot.
In the balcony?
Take me away, a secret place, covered in paste. Yeah, in like the balcony of the church. It was a risky move because the sound guy was up there, but he wasn't paying attention.
Oh,
to
he was.
shit.
He didn't care.
But it was like a storage thing up there, and you could get in it. You couldn't go far. So I was like a paper thin wall 2 feet away from the sound guy jacking off. Yeah.
Because, man, that snare sounds good.
It was really popping in there.
The only time, if you're going to do that, you got to beat off to the drummer, which is all slow and shit. Like in the fucking lead church group.
But tonight, guys, here's the deal. We are going to cover the crucifixion of Jesus Christ like we normally do. Our hard-hitting journalism. Same style. The only way that this could be done the right way is by the Death Metal Boys. Jesus, he's the Son of God. He's a carpenter. He came to earth, laid down his life to forgive you of your sins and suck you up into heaven when you pass away. He was born to a virgin mother.
Yeah.
Never been touched by anyone. God just put him in there.
And he get gang fucked by the three wise men, as we were led to believe by this secular culture of bullshit.
Yeah, come on, man. They're wise. If you're a wise man, you pull out. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that the math adds up there.
Joseph, didn't he have a dick? He was built like a Ken doll.
Yeah, he's weighing free. He can't shoot nuts. He never had another kid with Mary. You know what I mean? They never even had sex. I'm imagining after God puts one in there, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to go back
The Lord blessed
to
him.
just regular people dick? When God puts one in you, you think it could just go back to a man's wang? What do you think God's fucking peace is like? You know what I mean?
It's huge.
I guess it's whatever you want it to be. It just like perfectly fills a hole, and he's omnipotent.
Yeah, he
He definitely is potent. I'll tell you that. 'cause
he is
put-
able to look down at your pussy and get a hologram of what the size is, and he was like, I can download this.
I
dick.
can't, dude. Here's what's gonna happen: is that when we put this out, people are gonna search for like crucifixion or Jesus or Easter Sunday, and this is what's gonna pop up. Or they're gonna be a little put off by the death metal dicks thing, but they might give it a listen, and then this is where they're gonna go, oh God, no!
Yeah.
I was trying to make it a little more serious, but I can't help it.
It is serious, man.
Yeah, very serious.
This is people's souls at
And so
stake.
Jesus was perfect. He was a pious man, never did any wrong his entire life. Unfortunately, there's no factual historical text, so I had to turn to the Bible to do all my research.
Yeah.
Great book. Reads well.
It does. There's 1,000 pages of things that are like there's factual things, and it's not bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
And if we're going down this road and you guys are needing help, you message it. We'll sing you a song and we'll ask you guys to get down on one knee and ask for forgiveness. And you know who forgive those sins for you? The sweet Jesus, the baby wrapped in sweet blankets, stacked in a haystack with cows licking around titties, and you're gonna watch a cat feed on a cow, a pig fuck another human being. And that's what Jesus' grace is like. He doesn't care. He accepts you whether you're a hog or a dog. He don't care.
It don't matter if you a hog or a dog. All right, guys, here's what we got to do up top every single week. Death Metal Dicks, #1 death metal podcast, true crime podcast. What we do is we take horrendous, terrible, true crimes and compare them to our favorite death metal songs. This week, we're going to take the cold-blooded murder of Jesus Christ and compare it to Deicide's "What's Up on the Cross?"
Pig pussy.
Now, I can't give you the entire story of Jesus. I feel like everyone knows it. If you don't, either congratulations for skipping it or God damn, you're dumb. Those are the two options. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe you grew up in some Buddhist household where you guys were talking about Gandhi, who literally had sex with kids and hated other races. Now, Jesus, he didn't do any of that shit. Gandhi did that shit. You know what I mean? So who's cool now? Yeah,
he didn't lose. He's not like me where he
Jesus.
just is losing his life to the bottle.
Dude, you stop drinking. I did an interview earlier, and Buddy has literally drank 3/4 of a bottle of 40 Creek. Now, I suggest that you all tune into YouTube, especially now we got a green screen, a professional camera that focuses in and focuses out. But look at that. That is where the bottle's at. And I've had this much of it, and Buddy's had this much of it. So if you are only listening to the podcast, I can describe it as it's past the second label on the 40 Creek bottle.
I'm doing a test of faith.
And I'm just going to move it over here because I have to ride home in a car with Buddy later.
I'm doing a test of faith, brother.
Yeah? You doing a fucking trust fall in Jesus' arms tonight when you had too much whiskey?
No, I haven't had too much. I'm going to keep going.
No, you're not.
No matter where you move it, I'm getting it.
All right, you doubting ass Thomas. I'm going to keep you from that shit. All right, so I can't give you Jesus' whole life. I'm going to give you the entire week leading up to his murder and the subsequent aftermath. Jesus Christ was traveling the lands, performing miracles. He was breaking bread, turning it into thousands of loaves, fucking refilling fish like a motherfucker, turning water into wine, eating pussy. You know what I mean? He was out there. Yeah, but he would just point and you would come. That was his move. He was the gas master. That's what they called him. Jesus, Gas Master Christ. That's his full name. He just made you gas one. Just fucking, skew, ow!
Also,
yow!
The birth of rap came from the gas master, man.
Yeah, the gas master was for sure the first rapper of all time. Definitely Jesus rapped first. He got 12 dudes that were definitely not gay to follow him around. And he rapped at them all the time. It'd say they would sit down. There'd be a bunch of kids around, and he'd be like, "Check it out, son. This is what the biz. I'm gonna point at you, and then you jizz. This is the way that Jesus does it. I fucks you, and then your cousin. Now I'm pure of heart and flesh. When I come, it don't make a mess."
And here's the thing.
And it was that I hate that rap. I hate that type of rap. Like the listen up, I got a tale for you. One real funky motherfucking Jew from the land of Nazareth. He's gonna come down and make you jizz. 1 point from his finger. Your cum is gonna linger, 'cause there ain't no fucking soap. In the land of Jews ain't no hope.
Damn. Hey, but you know what, man? Listen, he did that because he knew that we would grow because, we're all embodiments of Jesus.
Yeah.
And when you're an embodiment of Jesus,
sure,
you're able to, like, what happens is rap has gotten better. Do you think Jay-Z did that shit by himself, or do you think that was through God's hand?
Oh, it was definitely God's hand.
You think Nas?
Come here tonight, man.
Like, they battled. They had this battle, and they thought, well, at the end of it, man, they're good buddies now, I think. And what they're doing is they've got tons of hoes.
Yeah, tons of hoes.
Or are you pointing up to Jesus just then?
Yeah, I'm trying to make you talk louder, man.
I just did it.
So here's the deal. He's been rolling around performing miracles. He's getting a motherfucking name because nobody would come through an old town wearing sandals and a robe and heal lepers. You know, leper, it's your body's falling apart. You got some fucked up disease where like your tits and ears fall off. And Jesus would just come through and nobody would touch a leper because they're fucking gross. Would you touch one? Fuck no. Disgusting. Jesus would put his hand on them, and they'd be totally healed.
I've touched a urinal cake before. I don't really.
You did. You did touch a urinal cake. We were actually in a bathroom, a public truck stop.
A Love's.
Which I think is the highest volume of piss into a toilet, period. A Love's. A Love's on Interstate 40. Buddy, the cool guy that he is, just snagged up a urinal cake and started fucking walking around with it. A trucker opened the door and just looked at him holding the urinal cake and backed the fuck up. Backed the fuck up. You think about grossing a trucker out. This guy drives a truck for a living, and he got sicked out by Buddy.
I started squeezing it between my fingers.
Oh, man.
And our buddy Mark was like,
You're
what?
the worst person that's ever lived, for sure. Jesus is the best, and you're the worst. That's the fucking spectrum. You're Jesus or you're Buddy. That's the fucking full shoot. If you start at the top of the slide, you're Jesus Christ. You're great. You're helping people out. You're turning water into wine. You're making parties cool. You're feeding people fish and bread, and you're taking care of the sick. And then you slide down to the bottom of the slide, and you're creeping out truckers by squeezing fucking urinal cakes in a Love's truck stop on I-40 for no fucking reason. Yeah.
That's a Alabama fortune cookie.
God,
I was trying
dude.
to find them. I was trying to find a
Right.
message from the Lord in the middle of
Yeah,
it.
of course, right. Yeah,
Sometimes you
because
got to go through the
everyone
hard to
knows
get to the
urinal
good.
cake. Yeah, definitely.
You got to go through the hard to get to the good, brother.
You know that there's a fetish where people eat urinal cakes?
Reltney?
Reltney.
Oh,
That's right.
God,
Correct.
yeah.
Reltneys. They eat urinal cakes and come from that. I would love to come from that.
I wish I could.
I can only come from intercourse, unfortunately.
Yeah, like a normal person.
Being normal sucks, man. I want to fuck a urinal cake. All right, anyway, back to Jesus. While he's making his way through the entire town, he's got a whole mythos around him. Now, he travels around, he preaches, he gives sermons. Here's the thing, man. It's like, let's say Jesus is 100% the Son of God.
He is.
When he tells you that,
I have faith in that.
when someone tells you that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a reaction you have, which is, no, you're not. You know what I mean? When you hear that, especially if you're like getting paid money to be a preacher or a priest, you've got a whole religion that you've based your entire life around. It's like the Gracie in Action jiu-jitsu tapes,
Yeah.
where they would have the open door challenge, and like way before the UFC in like the 80s. They had this family that basically, they didn't invent jiu-jitsu, but this is where Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which turned into the UFC, came from. This family had like a $10,000 open challenge where if you came to their gym in Brazil and beat one of them in a fight, they would give you $10,000 cash. And they really would. It's just the only thing is that nobody did jiu-jitsu. And kung fu, whack. Karate, whack. Taekwondo, whack. Kickboxing with nothing else, whack. You cannot fight somebody that can strangle you
Can't.
and you have no idea what's happening. So the Gracies just filmed all these matches and released them on video, which is what led to the UFC, and then just talked heaps of shit about every single person. Like, and the Kung Fu expert enters the ground with Hoist. Hoist easily takes his back, sinks a choke in, and gets the tap out. The Kung Fu expert does not realize he has wasted his entire life learning this fake martial art, and he wants to try to fight again, but notice again within 30 seconds Hoist on his back one more time and once again receives the tap out.
Until you run into yellow bamboo, and then you figure out what really.
Ki! But that is basically what these church folk felt like. They had been doing this one thing. They had their religion set in their beliefs like any other religious person you would meet with their faith today. And then Jesus comes along and rocks the fucking foundation. You know, he's like John Cougar Mellencamp. You're not ready for that. When you see it, you just get wet, you get hard, the tits pop out, you start fucking like it's a Ohio summer. You know what I mean?
Damn.
You're having sex and there's just corn growing all around you. And you're having a great time. So Jesus Christ coming to town, good looking motherfucker, man. Jesus, good looking ass dude,
Yeah.
telling you he's the Son of God. You get swept up in the hype. And then people that aren't involved in the hype, they're pissed off. That's how everything works today. It's like we put out a podcast and people that don't like us know that we're doing great. And they just sit at home like, I don't like that because those guys are just big wedgie-giving bullies. And it's not any good. It's the same thing with Jesus. You just methodically hate on somebody because you don't know them on a personal level. You just know that it's not true from Jump Street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Jesus is having a hard time with religious people, but gaining great following because people are watching him perform miracles. They're seeing it with their own eyes, which puts a lot of precedent for Jesus. So he's hyped up. So when he's going to come to the holy city, Jerusalem, it's a big fucking deal because this is where all the big wigs of the church are. All the priests, all the scribes, all the government within the religion, it's all located in Jerusalem. So he is making his way to Jerusalem to go preach there. He's going to teach in the temple, and he's going to show this religious group what JC is all about, which is healing the sick, making water wine, eating ass, and they're not ready for it. They're pissed as hell. Though on the way there, one of his homies, Lazarus, has died. You know what I'm saying? So he gets word. He goes to Lazarus' house. Now, he's got a history with Lazarus' sister, Mary. Not his mom, but the prostitute. Mary Magdalene, she was a whore. I mean, literally. She had sex with men for money. And so Jesus shows up, just gets on his knees and washes her motherfucking feet. You know what I mean? Scrubs them, which is like a big move back in the day because people didn't have shoes. So if they were going to come into your house, you didn't want their gross fucking Jerusalem filth-covered feet rubbing all over your dirt floor. So you would take them aside and wash those things down, especially old dick-sucking Mary. You know what I'm saying? Like, she had probably a gallon of cum on her feet. So
some people like the feet, though.
People love fucking feet, man. I've never, but you know what's a good move?
What's that?
Is if you're chowing.
Yeah.
And they fucking jack you off with their feet. That's a great time.
I don't like that.
Why?
It's weird.
So you're gay.
No. I gotta
Does
think.
Your mom know?
I gotta think about toenails. My mom wants me to be gay.
Yeah, of course she does.
I could go shopping at Mossy Oak
just
with
wants
her.
anything. Like anything that your mom could have.
Oprah told me this. I've been over the edge ever since. Hacksaw Jim Dugan. That's my mom, guys. I don't know if you know that.
She looks, yeah, we've said it a lot, but your mom literally, people don't understand. She's top heavy and not like big tits.
Can we get in trouble if we look up a picture of my mom on arrest records? I mean, it's public information.
Nah, dude, pull it up. Yeah, dude, this is the thing about a green screen. You got to tune into YouTube because we're about to take a peek at Buddy's mom's mullet.
And we're gonna compare it to Hacksaw Jim Dugan.
Yeah, this is perfect. So anyway, while you're doing that,
Ginger Tea Garden.
Yo, Buddy just said his mom's name on a giant fucking podcast. That's cool. The health benefits of ginger tea.
My mom won't care. She'll be like, I'm famous.
Yeah, somebody, Buddy said, somebody told me. Arrest record?
No, just type in mugshot.
Mugshot, yeah.
Spell it right.
Yes. No, it's with a T, dude. Tea Garden.
I like how Muffler came up.
Yeah. Sorry, podcast. We're now engrossed in having.
No,
a green
mugshot's
screen.
one word, dog. And then you got to go to images. Yeah, and then I think it's
Something said something about horny. I saw over there. Anyway, so we're looking up a picture of Buddy's mom. This is why you got to tune into YouTube now because we have a fucking green screen. We're gonna take
images.
a look. We're gonna take a look at Buddy's mom on the green screen. I feel like Joe Rogan right now. He's like, oh, you got to check. That's God damn it.
No,
this is stupid. All right, so hey. Listen, Jesus Christ,
keep scrolling.
Here's his friend Lazarus died. He goes to the house. Mary's a prostitute. He bends down and washes her feet, which is a big deal. And now you got to think that Jesus Christ has got 12 disciples that are rolling around with him. These are 12 grown-ass men that are following Jesus around based upon his teachings. I mean, they're holy dudes. They're basically pious guys. Some of them were kind of shitbags. I'm not going to get into the whole story of like Paul and how he was a blasphemer and a fisherman and kind of a wild boy. And then Jesus came around and saved him. They've all got stories. They're basically a bunch of like drug addicts and shit like that. And he has them all rolling around with him. 12 dudes, definitely not gay. And so when he does things, all of them take notice. Now, obviously, the books of the Bible, the Gospels and the New Testament, they're all written, Paul, Mark, Peter, John. They're all falling in line. They all write their account of what happened when they hung out with Jesus. So the disciples play a big role in continuing Jesus's legacy. So when he does shit, they take note of the shit that he does, write it down, and then transcribe it to the Bible. So all the things you read are allegedly through their eyes, the people who are there watching. So it's like supposedly as basically a secondhand story every time, even though we know when the Bible was actually made. Jesus washes her feet, and the disciples are like, yo, Jesus, what are you doing? Why are you down on your knees washing this prostitute's feet? Don't you think you're better than that? Jesus is like, no, prostitutes are my people. Everyone's turned them away, but Jesus is here to give everybody hope. Jesus is for everybody. And so she shows him that. Then she goes to Lazarus. She rubs Lazarus with ointment. And then Judas, who carries the money around for the squad, complains about her rubbing Lazarus, who's already dead, with this ointment. He says it's expensive. He could have given the money to the poor. And what he means by give the money to the poor is she could have given it to the squad, and they could have given it to the poor. But Judas, of course, is a traitor, and he wanted the money for himself. So Lazarus is dead. He's been dead for almost an entire day. Jesus goes in there, does his thing, and brings Lazarus back from the fucking dead. Insane. People are blown away, obviously, because Jesus performed the greatest miracle of all time. Brought a man back from death. And that cements that he is the baddest motherfucker that's ever lived before. And the apostles are going crazy. Mary's going crazy. Word is traveling to Jerusalem. He's like 20 minutes away from Jerusalem right now. And everyone's like, holy shit, this dude is the real deal. All these people are saying that he brought Lazarus back from the dead. And he's got Lazarus with him to prove it. Now, of course, maybe he didn't die. And the proof could be that they came up with this whole thing. And Lazarus is just playing along and saying, yeah, I was dead. He was alive the whole time. Who knows the actual truth? But going with the story, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to pretend for sure that all this shit happened. Jesus is now a man who brought someone back from the dead. So the priests are pissed off about this. So when he gets to town, he gets a huge reception. He rides into town on a colt. People praise Jesus. Everyone is hyped. They're going to go to the temple. They're going to take his class. The Pharisees get mad as fuck. Tells everyone in attendance to shut up or they're going to hell. Jesus tells the disciples, don't worry about it. And eventually it gets to such a boiling point where the priests are having basically the holy police escort them out of town. On the way out of town, Jesus tells his disciples that Jerusalem is going to be utterly destroyed. And then Jesus goes back the next day to start teaching in the temple. Now, on the way back to Jerusalem, Jesus notices a fig tree. He is hungry as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Approaches the fig tree. No fruit on it. Bullshit.
So he just like makes it come.
No. What Jesus does is he looks at the tree and he says, you'll never bear fruit again. Keeps it moving.
Kind of like you do with that fucking whiskey bottle.
Yeah. You don't need any more fruit. You're all fruited out. You're all figged up. You know what I mean? So Jesus gets to the temple where he's going to teach his class, and he notices this circus going on. He's like, what is this shit? And he sees that it's time for the yearly tribute to the church. And they've got these money changers. And what a money changer is, it's like if you go to Dave & Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese and you put your cash into the machine, it gives you tokens back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A money changer in the temple, you have to pay a yearly tribute to the temple, and you need a half shekel to do it with. And the only way to get the half shekel is to give these money changers money. And now the money changers could be corrupt. You know, they could be keeping the cash. The church could be tucking away extra cash on the side. And they make people that are too poor to get a half shekel buy a dove to offer as a sacrifice to the church. So some people's money that is intended solely for food, they're barely scraping by, they have to spend that food money on a dove to offer as a sacrifice to the church. Well, God's son is in the building, and he's not with that shit. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
God helps those who help themselves. So you can't be buying a fucking dove with your life savings. You got to eat. You got to feed your kids. And Jesus is mad as shit. He gets in there. He smashes the fucking temple. I'm talking Jesus. Pious man. Flips the table over. Starts smacking a whip around. Slaps the shit out of a priest or two. Screams at the top of his lungs. My house is a house of prayer, but you've made it into a den of thieves. And then in the back, it's bow now, bow now, bow now, Bam. It's just
It's
one of
one
those
of those
days.
days.
You don't want to wake up. All these Jew priests are fucking corrupt. You don't really know why, but you want to fry the house of the holy. No human contract. You paid too much for doves. Suck on my nutsack. And then he just wrecks shop, dude. Jesus fucks it up. And of course, that drives the priest crazy, but they can't do anything because the crowd is loving it. Breaking up the corruption, they start shouting, Hosanna to the Son of David, which I think is like a Heil Hitler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a Hosanna. I got a feeling that's one of those fucking moves you're not supposed to do. Shouts to Watain for getting busted on that this week. I don't want to go down the same road, but you get the Hosanna. We'll say it's like this. Hosanna to the Son of David. When the Son of David implied, now David is the most prolific king in the history of Israel. You know what I mean? He's a direct descendant of Abraham. He was a powerful king in Israel, and Jesus is related to him, but he's not his son. What they're implying is that he is the son of God. He's the son of the number one king in Israel's history. It's like if another great rapper came along and he wasn't actually Jay-Z's son, but Jay-Z was like, yo, it's my son right here. It's going to swear it's my son. You know what I'm saying? It's Jay-Z's son right here. It's going to give it to you. That's what it's like. They're blown away, and the priests are pissed, of course, because they already hate Jesus. Jesus just broke up their money scam, and now they order Jesus to make them stop. The priests say, Jesus, you're blaspheming right now. It's against the law. You got to stop. Jesus says, I can't make them stop. These people are fulfilling a prophecy. You know what I mean? Fulfilling a prophecy. I bet he fulfilled the shit out of some prophecies. Now, he doesn't stay in town that night. He heads back to Mary's house where he came from. On the way out of town, the same day, the disciples see the fig tree that Jesus said you will never bore fruit again. The tree is dead. There's no life on it. No leaves. It's dried up like it's been dead for 10 years. Now, Jesus is hiding out outside of town to kind of lay low and avoid the priests. This dude, Philip, has got some clout, and he likes what Jesus has got going on. Tons of money, rich guy, influential guy. He wants to see if they could come see Jesus. And Jesus gets word of this, and he gets hyped. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this is the time. It's time to get glorified. The time has come for our squad to get some glorification. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, God's voice from heaven calls down and says, now is the time for judgment of the world. God has and will glorify his name. And Satan, the prince of this world, will be cast out. And Jesus blows a huge nut because God just talked. You know,
that sounds like a mosh call, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that is. Yeah, definitely.
It's like a New York hardcore.
Dun, dun. Give me like a like a feedback, like jun jun. Yeah, you already know what's up.
Chum, chum.
God has and will glorify his name.
Chum, chum.
He states now is the judgment of the world.
Chum, chum, chum.
And Satan, let's take Satan, prince of this world, and cast him out.
Chum, chum. Chum, 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 chum.
God, we're fucking gay. Jesus hides the whole night, doesn't get into it with anybody. That's the end of Saturday. And Sunday, April 2nd. Jerusalem's main temple. All the chief priests, scribes, and elders confront Jesus. They challenge his story. They challenge his authority. And this whole interrogation between Jesus and them lasts about 8 hours. Basically, they say, Jesus, you say you're the Son of God. To me, that sounds like bullshit. Jesus is like, nah, son, listen to this. I came from God into Mary, virgin style. They never fucked. She was there. I came out, was a carpenter for a while. Now I'm doing this shit, saving people. Watch me do it. See this blind motherfucker over here. I'm gonna put some sight into him, and he does. And they're like, "Ah, that's cool, but we could do that too." He's like, "Well, let me see that shit." They can't do it. You know what I mean? They're mad, arguing back and forth. And Jesus isn't ever flex on somebody. You know, he's not like, no, I'm God's son. He just kind of like calmly explains things, which is always the right way to do it. You know, it's like when we would bounce at a club.
Yeah.
You know, and people that couldn't fight, like swole up guys, military guys, whatever, they would try to intimidate you and be like, "What's up, motherfucker? I'm gonna fuck you up and put my fucking hands on you, kick your fucking ass." And then we would just be like, "Okay,
yeah,
all right, man, go ahead. You know what? You can. All right, you know, keeping it calm." And that stresses people out even more because that's confidence. It's the truth. It's a fact.
Nothing makes you feel like a dumbass when you scream and somebody's talking. You know?
It's calm. Yeah. And that's how it's going down. They're losing their mind, and Jesus is just Jesus. And so they let Jesus leave, they're starting to get a plan in action, though. That
Except we kicked their ass.
Oh, yeah, we kicked their fucking ass.
There's
yeah,
a
Jesus
difference.
didn't kick anybody.
There's a difference in this
correct.
story.
You're right. But I'm just talking about the confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they go out. They leave to the Mount of Olives. And that is kind of where their like Last Supper situation is going to be. It's a retreat, a place for him and his disciples to be in solitude because Jesus wants to spend his last time on earth with them. He's kind of telling them how things are going to be, basically predicting the future to them. You know, they're going to have their Last Supper. He's going to tell everybody exactly what's going to happen, which of course cements everything, is because when like you know everything that's going to happen and then you're in the moment and everything that this man predicted is happening the way he predicted it, you know, there's nothing left to doubt. Not that you're going to doubt it anyway, but it's like after like the third time, you're not like, yo, this shit is crazy. Is it really happening? You're just like, yes, this is the way it is. I can't control what's going to happen next. So they're all comfortable with accepting their fate. You know what I mean? Because Jesus set it up that way. So now they all know that Jesus is going to die, wraps it all out for him. He tells them that Jerusalem's temple will be destroyed. And then he tells them that although all these terrible things are going to happen to him, he's going to die, he's going to come back and cleanse the world of all the bullshit. Like an Acacia Strain album. You know, really bad chug-a-lugs and the world is shit over and over again.
Something really make you buy some fucking Air Maxes.
Yeah, right, correct. Yeah, like a 90s Jeremiah Chandler type of Air Max situation. You know what I mean?
Up? Shout out Jeremiah Chandler.
He's that guy's got like the shoes that were cool on the B9 board.
Oh, I believe
he's still rocking them.
He called me Dr. Lloyd.
Yeah, you're a doctor though.
I am.
That's fair. You know the facts. You know the information.
Yeah,
you went to school. You're well educated.
I am.
Yeah, for sure. I back that all up. So Jesus, you know, and he's also explaining how he's the Son of Man. What's going to happen is he's going to die, but at the same time, this is just his flesh version. He's a part of God. He's not like my son, cool ass dude. He's not also me. He just was my cum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my cum mixed with my wife's eggs, and then he grew out of that, and now he's his own person. Jesus never was nut. He just is a part of God. And that's hard to understand, you know?
Yeah.
But like they're the same person.
It's faith.
So he's down here. Yeah, right. Everything's faith. And so he's down here, and when he dies, he's just going to go back to, you know, what it was, like an ethereal, spiritual being that's beautiful in the skies.
Yeah.
And on earth, though, his legacy will continue through the disciples, and he calls himself the Son of Man. Now, the disciples are told by an outside source that during Passover, the religious nerds of the Great Sanhedrin, which is the squad, they all hate Jesus. They meet at a palace of Caiaphas, who is the high priest. They meet to discuss how to have Jesus killed, and their plan is to do it by trickery. Now, Jesus has another plan. He travels to stay with Simon the leper so he can cure him, brings the disciples along. The disciples, or the woman anoints Jesus with ointment. And you know they hate that shit because I told you about the Lazarus thing. Ointment is a high dollar item back then. They're like, yo, don't waste your ointment on Jesus. Instead, sell it and give the money to the poor. And Jesus,
just
like,
imagine being covered in Neosporin back then.
Yeah, ointment sounds so gross. Like that's what ointment is, right? It's not like a cologne or a fucking Tiger Balm. It's just a thick Vaseline situation.
It's like you know, whenever you get like bad foot fungus, they got the spray.
Yeah, right.
Or when you get it real bad, they give you
gotta
the
get the cream. Yeah, it's the cream.
And then you get your fucking tough whacked and tenactin. They just jack him off.
Oh my god! So yeah, they anoint Jesus with ointment. Yeah, she probably just gave him a hand job. You know what I mean? It's a lubrication scenario, like a thick KY, the old school KY in the tube. And the disciples, of course, like, hey, spend your money on something else. Jesus, like, hey, guys, shut the fuck up. All right, she's doing a good thing. She's anointing me for burial.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like they knew.
I mean, he already told them, and he's just cementing it in. Now, Judas is the one who set Jesus up. We all know this. If you don't know the story, Judas is the guy. He's the one that holds the money for the squad. He's always complaining about spending because he steals money. He sells Jesus to the chief of priests for 30 pieces of silver, which is about $10,000 in today's money.
Yeah, and if you like listen to the last episode about weird ass vampires, Judas is the first vampire.
So I've heard that ridiculous theory.
Just watch Dracula 2000, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely watch that. What a great movie with fucking
There's
the
a cool
soundtrack.
Yeah, Slayer's like the only good band.
What did they do? Bloodline?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. God, Jesus Christ, man! What a stupid fucking movie.
In my bung you'll see.
What a stupid fucking song too, man.
That is the new. That's like the new metal song they put out.
No, dude, they put out a couple of new
They
metal
did,
albums.
yeah.
Let's be real, dude. Slayer had some stinks, dude.
Tom Araya raps.
Slayer had some real shit ass
Hey,
albums.
that one song though was the worst song on that album. The rest of that shit, I don't care. What
Yeah, that
nobody
album's
says.
pretty good, but what's the fucking one before that? That's just a full.
What are we talking about,
God damn it, man.
In Musica Diablos.
Yeah,
whatever
what
the
a
fuck it is.
fucking
Yeah, that's the
horrible
one.
record, dude.
Slayer's my favorite.
And people
band.
will argue about it. Yeah,
That
so,
shit
but you can.
sucks.
That's a shit fucking record, dude. Sometimes you miss. You take a swing and you
Yeah,
miss.
it's okay,
And that
you know.
stinks.
That's
That's
okay.
a bad record. That's enough to make me just not like Slayer.
Get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
I know, but it's
You
a
can't do that.
stinking ass record.
Just listen to Altar Sacrifice. You ready?
Yeah, you're right. Just crack me. I can't listen to it without a beer in my hand, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, you can chug the shittiest beers.
Satan. Oh man, I'm getting hot for
Yeah.
a cold. So now
Pass me that 40 Creek.
they have the Last Supper.
Come on, man.
I'm not gonna give you any more whiskey, dude. You're fucking sloshed. Like you are out of control. And I know if I feed you more liquor and I drive you home, you're gonna be a fucking asshole in the car.
What
on
if
the
we
way home.
make
Nah.
You're not.
We'll save that for next week. No,
You're
shut
not
up.
putting your faith in the Lord right now. You
Yeah.
piece of fuck.
You're right. That's a fair point. So the Last Supper, the disciples and Jesus break bread. They all sit down. Jesus begins to tell all the disciples their individual future, and they totally believe everything that he says at this point. They already did, but they've seen his plans come to fruition. They saw the fig tree. They know what time it is. He tells them the wine they drink is his blood. He is the vine. When you have a Last Supper celebration, I'm sure you guys have all had it in church, especially if you're Catholic, the little wafer and the wine, or if you're Baptist, the little cracker and the grape juice.
Yeah.
You don't get wine in a Baptist church, you fucking alcoholic, disgusting slob Catholics.
But you'll drink gravy.
Yeah, for sure. Way better for you than wine. Now, his flesh is the bread, blood is the wine, so they're drunk. That's what I'm trying to say. They've been drinking. And Peter is passionate. You know, he's like, Jesus, I'm Peter. I'm hard. When people come, I'm going to put my hands on them. No one's going to take you away. I'm ready to rock. And Jesus is like, Peter, you are a passionate man, and I've not had sex with you because for sure none of us are gay. Just 13 dudes traveling around, never even thought about it.
Just think about the Leviticus scripture.
Right, but here's the thing. Here's the deal. Me and you are going to fall out because once they come, you're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster crows, which is definitely not a homosexual innuendo.
Yeah, that's really just a Hank Jr. song.
3 times before the rooster crows, I shed Jesus and my clothes. Me and the Lord had things to do. It's take off our pants and screw.
Time screw on Saturday morning.
Oh, you said Hank Jr. Yeah, he's always like, all right, listen up. USA, #1 country in America, you fucking fruits. Listen to this ballad I wrote about the old red, white, and blue. Here it goes, Hank Williams Jr. Now, I've been seeing a lot of bullshit that happened to our country. Everyone's denying Jesus Christ and saying words like funky. I don't like where these things come from, and you know it's true. My daddy was Hank Williams, and Jesus was a Jew.
Beach nut.
Put 2. Spit it in this guy's fucking eyeball. Now, friends, shit starts to go wild for Jesus. It's a fast timeline, fast progression. Until now, we've just been healing sicks, arguing church people, having dinner, things of that nature. These guys go out to the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus' plan here is to pray feverishly. He does it for 3 hours. And actually what he's doing away from his disciples, talking directly to God, his Father, and also part of him, which seems real weird. That's some schizophrenic shit. He's asking if this is definitely what God wants. He's kind of having a little bit of doubt. Now, Jesus never had doubt. That's what the Bible says. He was perfect. Remember, he got tempted by a sexy-ass Satan in the desert for 40 days.
Yeah.
Satan offered him food. Satan offered him pussy. Satan offered him water. Satan offered him liquor. He turned it all down.
All the good
Never
shit.
even tempted. Yeah, meth. You know what I mean? What's better than meth in a desert?
Method pussy in a desert.
And he was turning them down left and right.
I just hear the fucking on meth is so good.
Man, meth sounds so cool, dude. Every time I think about meth, I don't really want to try it, but I just think about the culture, and I love it. I love methamphetamine. I don't take it. Yeah, man. Fucking parties 24/7, never winding down. Just having a ton of fun. Now, here's the deal. He's praying to God, asking if he's sure. The answer when he gets back apparently is yes, and he's going to go through with it. He decides, all right, this is make my peace. Jesus wept, and he's going to go through with it. Now, Judas shows up and immediately kisses Jesus on the cheek. That's normal, but it's a code for these fucking centurions to come snatch Jesus. Now, Peter kept true to his word. He started to get in a fight with centurions, and they cut his motherfucking ear off right away, and he backs down. He's like, all right, man, I guess that's it. And they all roll with Jesus. They take Jesus to the temple. And the high priest do an interrogation on Jesus, a heavy one. They start asking him about his disciples who are in the crowd. They're trying to find them, but they're kind of staying low-key, hidden. It's a thick crowd. You know what I mean? Even though it's 2 in the morning, there's not shit to do. So anytime some shit pops off, everyone's there to see it happen. Jesus won't answer any of the questions. He doesn't want us to talk to him. He already told them what he thinks. And then all of a sudden, the main priest starts asking Jesus direct questions. He gets Jesus by saying, before the God of Abraham, answer this. Are you the living God? Jesus is like, man, hell yeah. I've been telling you this shit. I will not lie in front of God. I am God. I am the great I am. That's the way it is, so shut the fuck up. You know what the priest does? He goes into a rage and rips his fucking clothes off like he's Ric Flair. Woo! I'm tired. Jesus, I'm a gold ring wearing, gold jewelry wearing, hog slaying, big pig having, robe shredding son of a bitch, and you're not going to stand here before me, wheel and deal me. I'm ripping my clothes off. And that's what he does. And
there's actual recording of this on the Dechristianized album of Vital Remains. It's the intro. There's a recording that happened way back in the day.
Yeah, sure.
They
the lost files that they found for that record.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that is a great fucking sketch.
It is good.
So Jesus is now in hot water. I mean, the priest is pissed. This guy is directly telling him to his face he is God. That is blasphemy, and they start kicking his fucking ass.
Jesus is never in hot water because he can walk on it, you idiot.
Yeah, but he doesn't now. He gets the shit kicked out of him. You know what I'm saying?
By fucking ass.
Holy people. How are you going to get beat up by a preacher? And I guess there's a bunch of them. And his disciples just sit there and let it happen. Someone tries to grab Peter and say, hey, I've seen you before. You're a disciple. You're one of them. You're one of his men. You're one of Jesus' people. Is Jesus the Son of God? And he's like, oh, that's not me. That's not me. I'm not Peter. Yeah. That's somebody else.
That sounds like somebody denying some gay. When you try to grab Peter.
Deny the cross. Yeah. No, don't grab my Peter. I'm not gay.
No, yeah. Don't grab no Peter.
So they start kicking Jesus' fucking ass. The priest asks the council that's there for a verdict. They say death. They want to put Jesus to death. Around 6 a.m., he has his second trial. That's the tradition in the Holy Church. You can't condemn someone to a verdict without having a second trial. So his second trial, they take Jesus, they move him to the second temple where the Holy Council is, and they basically don't ask him any questions. They just stamp a paper, which sends him to Pontius Pilate, who is the Roman official in town, which is who is actually in charge of everything, is Rome at this time. That's why the centurions arrested him. Rome is in control of Jerusalem, and Pontius Pilate is the direct representative to the area from Rome. So the thing that happens here is that the holy congregation they have a legal system. They can charge you with a crime, they can sentence you to a punishment, but they can't condemn someone to death.
Yeah.
So they need someone else to do it. So they bring him before Pontius Pilate, and they charge him, instead of with blasphemy, treason against Rome. And what they're saying is that Jesus would not allow the church to pay Rome anymore if he took over. Now, Pontius Pilate doesn't give a shit about that. It's just a man, you know? And he's already beat up. He doesn't look hard. Jesus is hard. Let's give credit where credit's due. He is hard. Like, he's about to get his ass kicked, and he never quits. He's hard.
Yeah. Tough-ass
Jesus. So, around 7 a.m., Pontius Pilate decides that on the side of Rome, I'm literally reading Bible verses now, they want him to legally murder him, basically. Now, Pilate questions Jesus himself. He asks the preachers to send Jesus up to him instead of listening to all their bullshit and hearing from the crowd. Pilate asks where he came from, what he's doing. He discovers that Jesus is from Galilee, and he sends him to Herod Antipas, who is the triarch, which is basically the ruler of Galilee, and the son of Herod the Great. Now, if you know your Bible history, you'll remember that Herod the Great, when Jesus was born, heard that the Jewish Messiah had been born and sent off to have him killed. You guys remember this shit?
Yep.
So that is Herod the Great's son. And now he's supposed to judge Jesus. So Herod Jr. questions Jesus, and Jesus will not answer anything. So Herod and the soldiers mock Jesus. They put a king's robe on him and a crown and start calling him King of the Jews, Son of Man, Son of God, King of Kings. And they basically say he's innocent. He didn't do shit. They just make fun of him and beat him up a little bit, and they send him back to Pilate. All that took about 2 hours. And Pontius Pilate tells the religious leaders that had brought him before him that he and Herod find Jesus innocent. There's no reason to hold him anymore. He wants to release him. But because the crowds have been worked up into a frenzy by these religious people who are basically telling people if they let this blasphemy happen, they're all going to go to hell. This is blasphemy. And that's a big deal back then. You know, there's no TV, there's no media. It's just the fear of burning in hell forever. That's the number one driving force for most people. I mean, they're all poor. They're basically slaves. So your spirituality is king at this time. So Pontius Pilate, being a smart man and a good man, tries to come up with like a pretty slick move and offers the crowd and the priests a solution to this. He says, okay, look, we only can hang 3 people at one time on a cross, all right? We can only torture this many people. Now, here's all the people we have. These murderers definitely have to get dealt with. This is a thief. His name's Barabbas. He's a real piece of shit. He steals shit, breaks in, disgusting scoundrel. Now, we can take him and do what we should do with him and kill him, or we can hang this guy on a cross who's pretty much the most chill person here, period. And they let Barabbas go to kill Jesus, which is absurd. And so he's like, Jesus, man, like, wow, Pilate can't win. He's trying to help Jesus out. And so then he's like, tells the soldiers, beat Jesus, scourge Jesus, don't kill him. So they take Jesus to where, you know, as every ancient culture, they've got a public place where they're so, again, there's nothing to do, so they're horny to watch someone just get mutilated. They love it. A spectacle. Bring someone down there and smack them around with whips, sticks, chains, like beat them to death, basically, and let the crowd watch. They love that shit. So the centurions, you know, that's basically like, it's a stand-up comedy show, and they're the comic. They get to come out there and do their routine of smacking some poor guy from Galilee around, and they start whipping his ass with canes. They do that for a long time and basically what they do for punishment is they smack you with canes until they break your will. So they'll keep hitting you as long as you resist the hits. You know what I mean? So they smash Jesus with canes for forever. They've been drawing blood. I mean, when I say canes, I mean like a stick. You know, like your grandma used to make you pick off a tree and smack you with a switch. And they were, you know, like drawing up huge welts on his back, and he falls to his knees.
Well, but people don't understand is when Jesus is getting switched, and you hear this story, this is a test of your sex drive. Like, you're not supposed to get a boner. If you do, it's blasphemous. Which I had a hard time as a kid when I heard.
You get a blast Peter.
I get a fucking blasted Peter. I have such
a
a
hard from blasphemy.
Such a hard time hearing this story. My dick gets so hard that I could black your fucking eye with it.
Don't drink this much. You're so dumb. So Jesus is resisting this because when he falls down, the officials say that's enough. Satisfied. We're good. But Jesus, instead of kneeling and accepting his fate, stands up, and they can't believe it. They've never seen anybody withstand this much punishment. So now they break out the cat o' nine tails, this gnarly whip with sharp glass and broken bits of shit that just rips you to shreds on it, and they start whipping him with that. Same thing. They just mutilate his body, whip him to shreds with this thing, and he will not wilt to it. He takes it all. They rip his entire body up, and Pilate comes in, and he's got his main soldier with him, and they're like, what the fuck? The order was to not kill this man. You guys have beaten him to death. Look at him. He's shredded. I said, punish him, do not kill him. And look what you've done. And so they bring him back before the crowd. The crowd wants him dead more than anything. They have to see this man killed. And so Pilate, instead of fighting the crowd and getting a bad reputation and staking his entire foregoing opinion on the head of Jesus, letting him go and have everyone see that he's soft, that he doesn't agree with the people. He doesn't say that he approves of Jesus being killed, but he washes his hands of it, which is a symbol in those days. Again, washing feet, washing hands. He's pure. He's just absolving himself of the situation. Like, if you guys want to kill Jesus, go ahead, but I think it's bullshit, so I wash my hands of it. It's on you. So that's what it is. They're going to crucify him. Now, crucifixion, if you don't know what it is because you didn't read the Bible or whatever, they take a tree, they make a cross out of it, hence the symbol. I feel like everyone knows this, but just in case, then they nail you. They nail both of your wrists. They cross your feet and nail a railroad spike looking thing through your ankles onto a piece of wood, and then they hang you from this until you die. Now, most people don't die of bleeding out because there's a nail in you. Most people you don't just die from pain. They die of starvation days later while they're just hanging in the most agonizing pain possible. I mean, all your weight is being supported by nails that have been driven into some really vulnerable feeling places on your body. And he's already beat the shit. I mean, the other two guys that are going to be hung on the crosses next to him, there's going to be 3 dudes on this mountain, Golgotha, which is also known as Calvary, the place of the skull, because it looks like a giant skull. So this is where they execute people. It's pretty fucking badass. You know what I mean? And so they take Simon of Cyrene, and they take this other dude. No, Simon's his homie with leprosy. Then they take these 2 other dudes, and basically the last piece of humiliation is you have to carry your cross all the way from the town square to Golgotha, where they're going to hang you up. Now, the other 2 dudes, they haven't been beat to shit. They're in good shape, so they can easily carry this giant piece of lumber that can support the weight of a man and also be put into the ground like a post. And Jesus has been beat to shit, so he's trying his best to carry this cross. They make his homie Simon with the leprosy carry it after he's been doing it halfway. And all the while, Mary Magdalene's watching. Lazarus is watching. His fucking mom, Mary, is there watching this whole thing take place. And it's so gnarly that, like, Pilate's wife is, like, holding his mom and giving his mom rags to clean up Jesus's blood with. And all these people are just so horny to watch this fucking nasty crucifixion happen to this fucking dude who's just basically saying that he is God. And it's not that big of a deal, if you ask me, you know? Just a crazy asshole at worst. And so they make him carry the cross all the way up this hill. Simon carries it for him halfway, gets it up there, and then they crucify his ass, dude. They crucify all 3 of them, so he's got to go through, on top of being tortured for hours, being nailed to this piece of lumber. They hang it up. All his weight's fully supported on it. The other 2 men are in excruciating pain along with Jesus. And Jesus is up there dying, man, suffering. And again, you know, people are traveling to see this happen to Jesus. All the disciples are there. And then the day that they do it to Jesus, from noon till 3 p.m., a darkness covers the entire land. Like, not like a storm is brewing through, but like night. Like, there's no light at all. And Jesus tells his mother, Mary, to consider the apostle John to be her son. And he tells John to take care of Mary, his mother, like he was her son. And then at 3 p.m., God finally has contact with Jesus, because Jesus is at the point where he can't take it anymore, and he yells out, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And
so that was
some people
name, that was the name of the elephant that
yeah,
was by?
right, correct.
Okay.
Some of the people in the crowd think that he is calling out to the prophet Elijah, and they fucking clown his goofy ass, because they bring around the other people water to drink. And that's the thing, is that you die of starvation or you die of thirst, and they give him a drink, and they give it to him, and it's fucking vinegar, dude. They just give him and he takes a big swig of it like he's getting water.
Which he's been fine with, because he's been chowing ass and pussy.
Yeah, true, for sure. That's true. Which is just like a douche. Like a freshly douched box tastes like vinegar. But he gets a big swig of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after that, they clown his ass again, and they thrust his spear into his sides. And when they do, instead of a bunch of fucking blood coming out, it's just like vinegar and piss and dust, you know, because he's fucking done. It's all over.
Which is
with.
what he made like Adam out of.
Yeah, right.
Ribs.
Rib dust and shit like that.
Yeah.
That was from a woman's rib, dude. Because when like a woman comes from a man's ribs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because ribs are delicious, and so is a woman's ass. That's the best way that's ever been put before.
No, you're.
I swear to God, dude.
Hey,
If this doesn't work out, I'm starting a church, and
Fucking-
I'm gonna make so much. Now, see, God came unto the Garden of Eden, and when He did, let me tell you, children, He did not make woman from man, because the woman is weaker than man, as the enemy would have you perceive. It's a common misconception that God the Father made women weak because they came as an aside of man. And when I say aside, I mean a side, a piece of the man's side. The rib came out of the man and it turned into the woman. But let I say to you this, taste you the finest Memphis dry rub barbecue rib. It's the best food in the entire history of the universe. And let me also say to you this, taste the ass of a woman. The ass of a woman is delicious like the rib from Memphis. Now, the rib from Memphis will fall off of the bone, but the ass of the woman will give you a bone. You understand what I'm saying to your church family? And now I'll tell you the glory of a woman, okay? Let me explain it to you like this. The key to getting into heaven is letting that yeast leaven.
Times the services are posted
Oh, my God,
at the
dude.
front door of Goosehammer's Flavor Town.
Oh, man, I hate myself. So, you know, they're
What's so funny
just
is
mocking Jesus the whole time. They keep fucking with him about being a king because that's the hype. And they put a sign above his head, not the fucking thieves' heads. They put a sign above his head that says King of the Jews. They're making fun of his ass. And he's dead. And that's it. He gets stabbed in the ribs and he yells out, "It is finished. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." And that's a wrap for Jesus Christ. All right. Live stream, we stopped recording at the crescendo of my Jesus glorification. That's no problem, though. We'll go back. You guys get to catch a little bloopity doopity. Man, that sermon was
that was good,
pretty
dude.
tight, dude. I'm telling you
What's
right
so
now.
funny is
that's
you're
my
like, and I
future.
hate myself, and like somebody dude's gonna hear this and he's gonna go, and you heard that deep down he knows that he's wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. The Lord is not going to be fond of that. I got a feeling we're going to get into a fucking wreck on the way home.